For by Robin Gwaltney Group RE Results. Welcome to Rochester Real Estate, featuring Robin Gwaltney from Gwaltney Group RE Results and Andy Brownell. Here's Andy Brownell on Rochester's News Talk, 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Saturday morning. I'm Andy Brownell, News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM with Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group RE Results. Good morning, Robin.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. Survived St. Patrick's Day?
Well, it was a cold one. And today there's a parade over in Wabasha, and I was going to take my dad, but I'm like, it's not that warm out. Yeah.
It's going to be a chilly weekend, but then next week I hear maybe 50?
That's more like it.
I'm stressing the maybe because I'm not going to promise that's for sure.
Well, I'll look forward to it. It's going to come eventually, whether it's next week or the week after.
I want it
It
sooner
is going
than
to come. Even when you walk outside and it's cold and there's still snow on the ground, listening to all the birds chirping, it's like, okay, spring it's coming. It is coming.
So did you get to see the first barges move up river?
I did.
Oh, nice.
Yep, I did. That's always a good sign, too. Oh,
I don't know why that's one of my favorite news items of the year to read.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just because I know now spring is actually here.
Yeah, we always watch for it. Growing up on the river, that's always been a big deal. You know, it's a definite sure tell sign of spring is here, and we love it.
Back. Yeah. So the big news over the past week has been, of course, bank failures.
Oh, so stressful. Very stressful. And, you see that and you think, oh, gosh, here we go again. And then I say, okay, Robin, now you're doing it. Now you're buying into what the headlines say. So I have spent a little time investigating just what do the economists, and especially the economists that I follow who really understand the real estate market, in my opinion. You hear me a lot of times quote the chief economist, Lawrence Yun, from the National Associations of Realtors. So I was excited to read what he had to say about how these recent bank failures will impact the housing market.
I'd be interested as well. He seems to be more often than not have a really good read on what's happening.
Yeah, once I started following him about 5 years or so ago, I looked back historically, and he's a really smart man. Let's just say that. So I feel really good when I read something that he says, if it sounds good, you know what I mean? If it's like depressing, I'm like, oh, I'm a little depressed because I think this guy knows what he's talking about. But he thinks that, all of these sharp increases in the interest rate are what caused those banks to fail. And in order to stop it from becoming a train wreck and keep happening, they're going to have to back off on those interest rates. And he thinks we're going to see some, backing down 0.5%, 0.5%. And if that happens, we already know we have a low supply of housing, right? We already know we have more jobs out there than people can fill. So we know that the economy can be really good. And the road bump that we've been facing in the housing market has been what's going to happen with the interest rates and how high are they going to go. And, if I start looking now, will they have increased by another % by the time I can lock in? And so we've been dealing with that. But he is pretty darn confident that what we're going to see is rates dropping to mobilize this.
That'll be really interesting because that's when you talk to the builders, they're saying that's what's keeping people from building new homes is the higher rates. So if you backed off on the rates, will that result in new construction, which will ease the inventory issue and all sorts of good ripple effects as far as real estate is concerned.
All right, so I'm going to actually quote him because, yes, I agree with you. He says here, the Silicon Valley Bank failure, along with a few other banks, means that the Federal Reserve cannot be so aggressive in raising its short-term interest rates, says Lawrence Yun, chief chief economist of the National Association of Realtors. Therefore, mortgage rates will decline. And then he goes on to say, so a panic, in a sense, leads to an automatic stimulus to the economy from lower interest rates. So the housing sector nearly always responds to falling mortgage rates, especially when there are job additions to the economy. So there you have it, straight from the horse's mouth. Right? It's going to be, and I do agree. I think, and you're right, it'll also affect people building, buying, building, just get that. We all know, we witnessed what the economy looked like when the housing market thrives.
Right. It has a huge impact on everything.
A huge impact. So, and I have been also seeing, even before this bank collapse, January's showings on a national, all across the country, there was a 62% jump in showings from December to January.
62%.
Right, 62%. So basically, I actually have a little graph, and the showings were the highest that they had been, higher than all of 2022. And 2022 in the beginning of the year was busy. So the bottom line is an increase in showing activity in January is a good sign that there are buyers who are eager to purchase a home, right?
Absolutely, yeah. If they're out there looking, they at least have to have somewhat of an interest.
So if they're out there looking in full forces, and now we're going to start to see a decrease in interest rates, I think we have a very, very bright market ahead of us.
You may have a very, very hot summer is what you're telling me.
Yes, that's right. Temperature-wise or business-wise or both. Who knows?
Yeah, it's interesting when you read about the banks and the interest rates that it sounds as if the banks had invested in a instrument that was really, really safe and stable for them to have as a backstop until interest rates went up. And once interest rates went up, that backstop investment all of a sudden became a deficit or a liability for these banks, and some of them had purchased too much of it.
Yes.
I would not want to be a banker. It's so, what a tight wire act that is to try to balance things out all of the time.
Oh my gosh, you got that right. Well, right now, this past week, the average mortgage rates were 6.73. So that's up because the week before I told you 6.5. And basically, a year ago, a 30-year rate averaged at 3.85. And that's what people are still focused on. And that's why it feels so, it just feels so hard. And in another article that I read, there are some other economists that do think that rates could hit 7% and before they trend downward, but they still do agree that they're going to trend downward. So maybe these banks collapsing will help that trend downward come a little faster. I don't know. I like to look for the positive and all the bad. I know that that caused a lot of stress to a lot of people. Oh my gosh. Terrible.
Well, I can guarantee I don't have $250,000 invested in any single bank.
Well, and nobody should. With all the banks that there are, even if they have that much money, spread it around.
Yeah, and it's surprising that when you hear that there are people who got caught in this situation that had a single savings account that contained more than $250,000.
Yeah, it's funny the banks even, don't discourage people from doing it. I don't know.
And it does seem, it's a sign of there's stress somewhere in the economy, and it's largely caused by, you're right, the interest rates going up. But we go through, I read that last year, there were, was it 24 bank failures?
Wow.
But they didn't get a lot of news because they were smaller outfits, not right in Silicon Valley and not right in New York.
Yeah, Silicon Valley is not where people expect to hear about banks failing.
But that's where they've had all these layoffs, too.
Right. Yeah, that's true. So,
people needed their cash. Yeah. Okay.
And they lose faith in the economy. That's the problem.
And it is right. It's always the psychology of it, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'll take a quick break. We'll return. We're talking with Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group RE/MAX results on News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
We'll be right back with Robin Gwaltney and Andy Brownell on Rochester Real Estate. This is News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
It's March, and you know what that means. Taxes are almost due.
Robin Gwaltney from Gwaltney Group RE/MAX results and Andy Brownell on Rochester's News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Welcome back, everyone. Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group RE/MAX results with us this morning. And I'm still astounded by that number, 62% increase in people out looking.
Isn't that great? Well, you know, we're here in Rochester, and we all know that, well, most everybody knows that yesterday was match day. So that's like a busy time for us because people have been flying in starting last weekend, I don't know, with strong inclination that they're going to match, or sometimes I feel like some of them matched last year but are coming this year, so they already did know. But we're definitely seeing traffic because of that. But this I thought was interesting. And this again is from Fox Business, so it's not just about Rochester, Minnesota, but it says this past week has seen greater interest from buyers. In the years past, there have been 16.4% more views per listing during the same span of time compared to the typical week. But in 2022, we had 22% more and this year than the average week, and this year we're up 10% above that. So people are out looking. People are out looking, which is great. And it says, with such high demand, homes tend to sell sooner. In fact, homes that were for sale during that week flew off the market 18% more quickly compared to the average week. So, I mean, we are seeing showings and we are seeing quick sales. And, you know, I always tell you that I talk to realtors around the country just to see what's going on in other places. And a few weeks ago, I talked to a friend of mine in Boston, and she said that in 4 surrounding communities, there were only 4 matches for her buyer that she had that was looking for a house over $1 million. And there was just absolutely nothing. And so they tried to buy 2 of the 4 and missed out on both of them. So we at least don't have that problem. We keep getting more and more, you know, this inventory. So for all of you who are listening, if you're wondering, is now a good time to sell my house? Oh my goodness, yes it is. We definitely need inventory. I think almost everything that we have had listed has sold. There is one exception, and I don't understand it. We have got the most awesome 2-story out on Ridgecrest, which is that northeast neighborhood, you know, out where Sargent's is off of you know, Sargent's Nursery, Andy, right. Out where, what is that street?
West Circle Drive. Is that the road when you go up the hill above West Circle Drive?
It's a County 11. I don't. No. What is it? I can't even think right. 18th Avenue. 18th Avenue.
I'm thinking. Okay, you're right.
Yeah, so if you took 18th Avenue out and crossed over 75th Street,
yep, I know, and
went out into that neighborhood, yeah.
It's a beautiful area out there.
It is, and those houses typically sell so quickly because there's so much about them that people love. You know, it's very much a family neighborhood. There's a lot of kids that are not little kids normally. They're more like elementary school, junior high, high school kids, because it's typically a move up neighborhood. It's not usually where people start, right? Because the houses are bigger and more expensive. But this house is such a nice, like 5-bed, 4-bath, 2-story, sits on 2 acres. And normally when you'd get a listing like that, it would sell so quickly. And I have had this listing for 6 months, and they keep saying to me, why hasn't our house sold? And it's immaculate. They're like, basically they have kept it looking brand new. It is so nice. But what the deal is I said, if we look back at the timing and what happened in the past 6 months, you put it on right before the interest rates started to go crazy. And then all of a sudden, the rates kept rising. And anybody who thought about, okay, I'm really getting kind of cramped in my 4-bed, 2-bath split that I've been in since before we had kids or since the first one was a baby, now's not a great time to move up, even though we're making more money at our job. And, financially, it sounds like a great idea, but geez, we just refinanced and we're, locked in at 2.5%. And now we're going to have to not only pay more money for the house, but we're going to have to pay more than double in interest rate. And that was just a turnoff to people. So what we're really going to need is somebody who is coming in from out of town who has to find a house because they want to live and they don't want to pay rent, because for God's sakes, then you're paying 100% interest.
Yes.
But I think that I'm just so surprised it hasn't sold. But I think with all the uptick in traffic, we've had open houses there the last couple of weekends, and we've had 4 and 5 families come through. So I think we're getting really close. So I really hope so, because this lovely family deserves to have this house sold. And they start to take it personally. Like, what is wrong with my house? And every other house that I had listed in that time frame has sold. And there's no reason other than it's just a really small, it's a specific market, because it's typically going to be a family with kids, because let's face it, 5 bedrooms and 4 baths.
Right.
I mean, I don't need that. Most people don't need that. But if you have a family, it sure is nice to have. So anyway, other than that, everything has sold.
What price range are they in out there?
It's $714,000. Okay. But you know what? In the last year, I've sold 3 other houses. Like right before I listed theirs, I had sold 3 other houses, and they were over $1 million, just under $1 million, and high 7s, and they all sold super quick. So it's definitely not a pricing issue. It's just, who fits the category and why it doesn't make sense for them to move right now.
Well, if you're listening right now and that matches up with you, give Robin a call, right?
Right, because it's going to make somebody a great home, and they've done a price reduction, and I don't even think price was the reason. It was just more the situation. But it's going to sell, and maybe you're going to be the lucky buyer. So there's going to be an open house there today. I wish I knew what time. I don't have that written down. Sorry, but it's on my website.
Yeah.
It's on the website.
And the neat thing about that area out there, it's just north of the city. So you go,
yes.
And it's so flat, right? You go, and then all of a sudden you're in these hills.
It's so pretty.
Yeah, it is. The trees up there, especially in the fall, it's just a gorgeous area.
Well, and it's easy for people, like if you are one that goes over to Lake City or Wabasha on the weekends for boating, you jump on 75th Street and you're already out of Rochester. Yep. If you like to go up to the cities, you jump on 75th Street and you're on 52 heading up to the cities. And if you need to go into work at Mayo Clinic, you're 20 minutes from work. I mean, from your door to their door, parked and into work. So it's really convenient, and it is beautiful. So I definitely say, especially if these interest rates start to drop, that would be great, because then somebody's going to get really excited and jump on this opportunity. I'm pretty sure.
I bet they will. Well, we have to take a break again, Robin, already. So
all right.
We'll be right back. Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group RE/MAX results on Newstalk 1340, KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
We'll be right back with Robin Gwaltney and Andy Brownell on Rochester Real Estate. This is News Talk 1340, KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
If you like rye bread, you're going to love what Village Home.
It's Saturday morning, and of course, kind of getting used to this. It's time we talk about some of the new listings you have, Robin.
Okay, well, I've got a few. I wish I had more, and I do have some more coming, but you know the rules. I can't talk about the ones that are coming.
Right.
So one that we have that I suspect will sell rather quickly is 2036 Beacon Drive Southwest. And that one is a 1987 split entry house with 5 beds and 3 baths. It has just about 2,400 square feet, and it is $359,900.
Nice price range too.
Yeah, nice price range. Like I said, I don't suspect it's going to last long. Maybe through the weekend. But hey, it's available now. So if you're interested. All right. Now, if you don't forget, I have that great one out in Ridgecrest too. Yeah. But if you're looking for your dream home, and some of you are, I know it, we have a couple of really nice ones. 2325 Scenic Park Place Southwest. The house looks like, it was built in 2016, but it looks brand new, but better because it's got all the window treatments and the landscaping. But they've kept immaculate care of it. They love this home, but took a job elsewhere. So this one is 5 beds, 5 baths, 3-car garage, 4,800 square feet finished. So it's a big one. And this is $1,150,000. Address 2325 Scenic Park Place indicates it backs up to a park. And the backyard is just, beautiful. So very, very nice house. I am actually holding that one open today from noon till 1:30. So if you want to check it out, come and see me. Then I have another big one. This one's a really unique property. It is 3730 95th Avenue Southwest in Byron. This house was built in 77, but has had a lot of remodeling done to it. It's a 6-bedroom, 4-bath, 3-car garage. And this one has 5,000 square feet finished. And it is sitting on... let me see if I can find it. I know it has some acreage. 23... No. That's not right.
That'd be a big parcel of land.
Yeah, no, it's not that. It's not that. I'm looking at 23,000 something. Dang it. It is on an acreage. Why can't I find that? I feel stupid. Here we go. 24. I'm right. 24 acres. So it is 23.9. 24-acre property. Okay? So it is... The property is obviously a big draw, and it is beautiful out there. And it has an in-ground pool. So, and has a big 20 by 50. The pool is 20 by 50, right?
Nice.
2022, they completely renovated the kitchen. So, and there's lots of storage out there for your toys because there's lots of room to ride your ATVs and your snowmobiles and whatever else you want to do. And
it's
that
an
one...
estate.
It is, right? Well, actually, I had people look at my posting on Facebook and say, "Are you selling a resort?" And I'm like, no, believe it or not, it is nestled on a sprawling 24 acres, but it is just a country dream home. So that one is $1,250,000. So you can have your horses there. It's a nice place, nice opportunity for someone. So we've got them in all price ranges. We've got more listings coming. I would love to come and look at your house and tell you what it's worth and what we could sell it for, so that we could get more much needed inventory and help you find what's right for you if you're looking to upsize or downsize, or if you're leaving town. We have connections all over the country.
Okay.
So here to help.
I have a couple minutes to go here, Robin. I had a question for you about your, it was match day yesterday. And that means the people who are going to be first-year residents.
Correct.
At Mayo all have to find a place to live. How are they pretty anxious when you get a hold of them when they're coming in here and they?
Oh my gosh, yes, because they hear the nightmares that residents from the past few years have dealt with.
Oh, sure.
So I actually helped a couple last week, and he was one of those situations where he had matched last year but wasn't starting until this year, and he said, "Well, the other residents have told me that I'm going to have to bid a lot over the asking price. I won't be able to get an inspection." I'm like, no. So we actually found them a house. We paid full asking price, and we made it contingent upon an inspection, which we had the inspection, and then there were items that they found. We asked the sellers, and the sellers agreed to pay. So, it is a little easier for the residents this year than it has been in the past couple of years.
What's funny about that is the previous residents get the bragging rights to locking in that unbelievable low interest rate on the house, but then they have the nightmare stories of finding the house, and these incoming people are going to go, it was easy. I
came one day, found a house, didn't have to pay over, got to have an inspection. They took care of the leaking water heater, and life is good. Yeah, exactly.
Perspective all the way. Well, that's fun.
Yes. Yeah. And it is. It's just about, the fact of the matter is we are still living in a market where we can buy affordable housing. And I see things like I have this one friend that's an agent in Canada, and I saw his little post. He did a little reel on Facebook, and I saw the house and I said, oh, that's a cute little house. Thinking in Rochester that would be like 200, maybe 225. And it was $850.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, $850? Are you kidding me? So even though people complain about the prices of homes, we still live in a very affordable region of the country. So we're still very fortunate, and we, don't have, we have a shortage of inventory, but there are still houses out there to choose from. So we still have homes to buy, and, the rates are still very doable. Maybe not as attractive as they were a year ago, but they're very doable. So the market is good, and I just don't want people to be discouraged when they hear otherwise, because the fact of the matter is, spring has sprung. People are out there. We're doing open houses every weekend. We're seeing more and more people come through the open houses. The lenders are seeing more and more people coming to be pre-approved. So it's happening.
Okay. So how do they get a hold of you, Robin?
Well, you can certainly find us on our website, which is gwaltneygroup.com. And that'll tell you all about us, the team, me. And then you can call me personally anytime on my cell phone. That phone number is 507-259-4926.
All right. Well, thanks again, Robin. We'll do this again next week.
Sounds great. Look forward to it.
All right. That's Robin Gwaltney with Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results here on News Talk 1340, KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
This program has been paid for by the Gwaltney Group.